47.5. So there's a tremendous difference. City of Wichita, the average is 118,000. And then looking at all of the statistics that are here that are saying we're this or we're that, page after page. And so we'll be studying zip code area 67214, and we'll pull out a certain part of the area, looking at some of the neighborhoods. An area of concern for me is in Janet Reddick's area, around the Dunbar Theater and that McAdams area. That's not to say that that's where the study will take place, but for me, that is an area that can thrive, and that's why I fought so hard to take some of the money that was taken from the Save-A-Lot and it was put back into the city. I fought to take that money and apply it toward the Dunbar Theater. There are some of my colleagues that said, why did you fight so hard? Did you think that we would not push that through, or that we would not vote on it? My comment was, you never know. You never know. And so the thing for me, and the thing for people that came down to speak or sent an email in favor of the Dunbar Theater, I thank you. There were people that were in the audience that made sure that they had their comments. I always tell District 1, you have to be at the table. You have to be at the table, or there's a possibility that you're on the menu, or you may not even get fed. And so that's very important that people like George Theo Harris, yes, he's a pain in the butt sometimes, but George is always there. Yes. He's always there. He's always asking those questions that you as neighborhood and community may not ask, but he's there. Mr. Roseborough fights for you on a regular basis in your neighborhood areas. And John Stevens brings up the animal control every opportunity that he gets and win. But that's so important. That's so important because you have people that are at the table, but sometimes you have to be at the table. The more people at the table, then the harder it is for someone to tell you no. So please remember that. And as the Dunbar moves forward, because they are in 67214, and because there's so much retail space around that area, if you've ever gone over into that particular area, it's a lot of retail space there, but not a lot of retail owners. And so for me, that's an area that we need to look at, that we need to say, can we bring this back the way it was years ago? Years ago, it was a very thriving area. Dunbar, I went there every single Saturday because my relatives, my grandparents were right down the street across from, at that time, what was a YMCA. So they were down on 12th and Cleveland. But that movie theater saved a lot of kids during that time. And my comment to the audience at that time is memories. I have fond memories of the Dunbar. I have fond memories of swimming at McAdams Pool. I have fond memories of Joyland. I have fond memories, and some of you don't even know we had a place called Kittyland. But we had those. We remember those. What do you think our kids are saying now as they grow up? What do you think they will have fond memories of? That is the one thing that I really feel bad about, is that we didn't come up with an opportunity for our young kids. We didn't have some type of amusement. We didn't have some place that they could go every Sunday. Because I can remember buying Easter clothes for church, but I also bought that outfit for Joyland that Sunday. We had to have that Joyland outfit. And so that's what I regret. I regret not having that opportunity for our young kids to say, Mom, can I go here today? That's what we must continue to work on. But that's what we as a community need to do. What for jobs?
I'm intervening in her because we have a special announcement for her. She doesn't know about it.
You
can get to it. You can get to it. But her special segue about what our youth are going to do is, if you know a teenager who's age 15 to 17, the YMCA has their job applications open. I did not put them on the table because y'all grab stuff and don't know what you're grabbing. So only take it if you know a 15 to 17-year-old teenager. It is due. It's due January 22nd. You must call and schedule an interview by January. So it's going to be on the back table. So, you got 4 minutes.
What? One of the other things that I want to tell you about, 67614 will keep you informed. That is going to go forward. It will take a couple of years probably for that project. We did this project on the west side of town. It was called West Side Promise. We looked at the west side because we had a very transient community there. If you know anything about the West High area, the feeder schools, we had a lot of kids that were not graduating. This program proved successful in the West High area, and that's why United Way is now saying it's 67214's turn. Well, I've been saying it the whole time, but they finally realized it. One other thing, the YMCA, not only do they provide jobs for our young people, and I have to say I was very instrumental in YMCA starting this job prep program probably 11 years ago by taking some money from the juvenile justice and applying it towards jobs. But the YMCA is looking to move a YMCA on the Wichita State campus. And so Ron, who is over all of the YMCAs, asked me the other day my thoughts about a YMCA on campus. My main concern for him and for him to take back was if you build a YMCA on campus, you make sure that WSU knows that's everybody's YMCA, that is that community's YMCA, that the surrounding area have just as much of an opportunity to go there to the Y as anybody else. And so Ron and I are on the same page. And so he may be reaching out to some of you and your neighborhood associations in order to come out and speak, because that was one of the things I asked you to do, is we are a community that we don't want you to tell us that this is what you're doing. Ask us our opinion. And so that was very important to me. So the YMCA is definitely looking at coming into your particular areas. I just recently had the opportunity, and I did want to share just a smidget with you in going to China. And some would ask why and what happened. We're always going to be looking for those economic development opportunities. Did I see something in China? I think there's a start for us in China, but I don't think that it's always necessary for us to make that China trip or for China to come to Wichita. So my comment to the officials in China was, why can't you have a 4 times a year, 3 times a year, those telephone calls? It's so easy now. Technology affords us that ability. And so that's something that we're going to look at. They really do want to connect our schools together. And again, you can do that through technology without having to spend the thousands of dollars to make that work. So look forward to hearing more about China and what's going on there. I will tell you that we have a new restaurant that is coming not into the immediate District 1 area, but it will be coming to 13th and Greenwich. And if you haven't been out to 13th and Greenwich, K96 and Greenwich, those areas are growing. Yeah. Those areas are growing. You have a nice shopping center at K96 in Greenwich with some of the places that others just do not have. But you will have a place that's called Chicken and Pickle Restaurant that's coming to 13th and Greenwich. So that should be something that is very, very interesting. I also took my last visit to Charlotte. In Charlotte, we had our National League of Cities, and that was my last meeting there. I had to go. Some say, but you're on your way out. Why did you go? Well, because I sit on the board of the National League of Cities. There were over 4,000 people in attendance for this particular weekend. And I sit on that board, and there are a lot of responsibilities still as a person who goes off of that board, which is what I just did. I also have sat as the secretary for the National Black Caucus of local elected officials. I have sat in that position since going into the political arena because, again, I wanted to see collectively as an organization, we call it NBC Leo, how do you affect all of our communities as you go back? So that is another area where I've laid the ground for Brandon. I have asked some of the members there to make sure that when he comes that they are reaching out, because I can tell you there was not an outreach when I first went. It was controlled by the people in the southern states And so even there, I had to make my own way by going to that organization. But there are some young men there that are ready to take Brandon and kind of help him along the way. Jermaine Reed is one of those out of Kansas City, Missouri. And these young guys are in their 30s. Cleo King is another young man out of Bessemer, Alabama, who says, yes ma'am, Councilwoman, I'll take care of him. So I'm laying the ground for Brandon as well to be able to be accepted into a group of over 5,000 people and make sure that someone is paving the way for him, and that's what we're doing. I also want to make sure that you understand, and we'll get more information coming soon about the neighborhood loan. I'm really excited about the neighborhood loan and excited to be able to lead that funding from the Hyatt. So if you have a neighborhood project, you will be able to access that loan and apply for that loan. If you have a sidewalk that the city is saying you have to fix that sidewalk, you might be able to apply for that neighborhood loan. Or if you have a tree that needs to be trimmed and it's on your property, and we know how much that can cost, that's what that neighborhood loan is about. How did I feel about leaving this? I felt absolutely great, because there are so many times that even a house is left in so many kids' names. So you have one little house and it's in 6 people's names, and no one has the money to get it turned over into their name. So you can apply for that legal assistance as well to be able to get that. I was so proud to be able to have a bus wrapped during Literacy Month. And this bus is wrapped that says, and it talks about leadership and entrepreneurship and performing arts. Inside that bus will be computers and screens and editorials and tutorials. So I felt really good about leaving that as well. So there's a lot that's still going on. My husband says, I thought you were supposed to be slowing down, but it seems as if I'm gearing up. But that's who I am, and that's just how I work. The homicides really hurt me. They just hurt to the core. For us to lose somebody. So when we had 4 homicides in one weekend, that hurt. To hear Troy talk about a homicide that he's looking at now on Estelle, I'm wondering, oh my God, where and why and what can we do? To have the chief tell me that someone was found passed away on Grove, and to hear it was an accident, I'm like, chief, do some more checking. People don't just fall out and die in the middle of the street. So they are double checking on that one. So the homicide issue concerns me, and that's because I'm not used to the numbers, and I think that it should concern all of us. Okay, so have I reached my time? No. But I was so glad that we found out about the fireworks. You know about Spirits announcement next week. And you also know about the WPD. All of those are important, and I hope that we continue to bring you firsthand news. Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for letting me interrupt you. On behalf of the state of Kansas, Senator Oletha Faust is here to present you with some.
Let me have a good morning, everybody. I'm here to present an official certificate to Councilwoman Oletha Williams. I actually have 2 of them because initially they left out the part being the best district in the city. So I'm just going to cut through the chase and read this. The state of Kansas, Kansas Senate tribute, hereby known to all, that official recognition is extended to City Councilwoman Oletha Williams in recognition of her service as a member of the Wichita City Council District 1, the best district in the city. The Kansas Senate and myself, Senator Oletha Faust Goudeau, commend City Councilwoman Oletha Williams on her hard work, her dedication, and commitment she has demonstrated as a District 1 council member, and further recognize her extraordinary service to the Northeast Wichita community. And she is and always has been committed to her community, empowering all citizens to seek the best quality of life they can in Wichita and the state of Kansas. And I predict that City Councilwoman Levanta Williams will go across the street, I hope. Because what you shared here today, this is so important and it needs to continue. And so I hope you'll just go across the street to the City Hall. And so, again, thank you so much.